Mhm.
Okay, das ist eine Testversion, falls man uns gerade sieht oder
Geht,
später
geht
sehen
noch
wird.
nicht los, oder? Schreibt Tobi.
Ja, das ist aber immer ein bisschen zeitversetzt. Oft. Jetzt sind wir da, glaube ich. Naja, es ist live, alles kann passieren. Ähm, Sagst du mal was? Sag mal was.
Ich?
Ja, ja, okay, ich höre dich weiterhin. Gut. Ich glaube, wir sind jetzt live. Also, hallo alle, die uns zuschauen. Weil, oder siehst du schon ein Video auf YouTube?
Ich kann auch nicht sehen auf YouTube, aber Eva hat gerade
Aber
gesagt,
es.
sie kann uns schon hören.
Okay, also sind wir wohl da. Ja, das kommt immer ein bisschen zeitversetzt, deswegen ist es schwierig. Okay, dann fangen wir ab jetzt auf Englisch an, richtig?
Let's do this. Hello,
Okay.
everyone.
Hello. So, welcome to our first live event. We are Foam Network, and we want to introduce ourselves with a short podcast today. And this is what we're doing. So there's a comment function in YouTube. So if you have any questions or if anything is not clear in the podcast, so you just comment in the comment section and we will talk about it later. All right, let's do it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Foam.
Foam is a platform which is open, interdisciplinary, inter-university, independent, run by students, architecture relevant, and international.
Foam is a group of young people working on a new interdisciplinary and independent platform to publish thoughts about architecture. My name is Pia.
And I'm Jakob.
We founded Foam this January. We both study architecture in our masters at Technical University Munich with the focus in architecture, history and theory.
Foam is an initiative that came out of a research project we did recently on architecture and design magazines, journals and newspapers. The TUM does not have their own architecture magazine. Our first idea was to develop such a magazine like other architecture schools. While analyzing this architecture university print media, we noticed the lack of exchange between different institutions and the potential such an exchange could have. We are seeking for a platform which works across universities to reach a broader audience and not only represent an image of our own institution. The birth of Foam, a critical digital platform that discusses topics of architecture, but without the use of pictures.
Why did we come up with such an idea? A digital platform that publishes texts and podcasts. We see the need for a young voice to be heard because it has the potential to be independent, critical and innovative, and it is therefore an important part of social reflection. Why do we focus on text? Our design environment and communication is mostly based on images, which has many advantages but also disadvantages. We see the writing of theoretical ideas as an essential part of architecture and design, which should have a stronger impact on the architecture discourse. Writing is also a tool which can help us doing the design process. When you write, you have to formulate your position clearly and become certainly more aware of your own statements. This position can become available and publicly effective through the script. It gains the opportunity to influence the discourse.
We launched our first call for content in February on the topic From Underdogs to Shikaria, the Right to the City. We received inspiring ideas and beautiful text proposals. The original idea was to hold a public live event in Munich. Here only a very few selected authors would have had the platform to present their essay with a followed-up discussion. However, the current COVID-19 situation enabled us to create a digital strategy to keep the public event and offered us the possibility to show a more wide range of submissions to a larger audience. Also in this digital format, we will have a moderated discussion with the viewers. The first live event via YouTube will take place on the 13th of May. We work closely together with each author to create the best additional event connected to their publication. Afterwards, we will publish the essay and the podcast on our website, and it will also be available on Spotify and Apple Podcast. Find all additional information on our website, foam-network.com.
Hi, my name is Anna and I'm a student of cultural anthropology. In this project, I see a unique chance for interdisciplinary cooperation, enabling all kinds of people to step out of their bubbles and create something greater, a foam.
I believe it is important to criticize the status quo of the architectural discourse, as the way knowledge is presented in architecture schools is usually quite one-dimensional and one-sided, and usually happens in a very traditional manner. But obviously new views and a fresh discourse can only develop and gain awareness if it gets actively shaped. And that's what foam tries to do for me.
Ich bin Tobi und meine Motivation bei foam mitzumachen rührt daher, dem visuellen und sehr schnelllebigen Alltag mit geringer Aufmerksamkeitsspanne einen gewissen Antivisualismus, eine Entschleunigung gegenzusetzen, sich wieder Zeit zu nehmen und Inhalte von allgemeiner gesellschaftlicher Relevanz zu diskutieren.
Hi, my name is Anna. I joined foam because it offers the young perspective to contemporary issues in architecture and planning. The text-based approach allows to formulate precise arguments and statements, interpreting creativity in a non-visual manner. For me, this is the missing link to theoretical ideas in current architectural practice.
Hi, ich bin Laura. Durch foam werden Stimmen zusammengebracht, die aus verschiedenen Perspektiven über Themen sprechen, die uns alle betreffen.
Von Anfang an mochte ich bei foam die Idee des niedrigschwelligen Austauschs in einem dynamischen Netzwerk. Zugleich fließen unsere Ideen in konkrete Ergebnisse wie Podcasts und werden so sichtbar.
Von foam erhoffe ich mir einen regen Diskurs und viele neue Denkanstöße. Euer Louis.
Today, our cities grow immensely, the property prices constantly increase, and the public spaces are shrinking. Who can afford to live in our cities? It is a relevant question, and it becomes an even more important topic in the recent time, where it's not clear anymore if housing is more and more seen as a tool for investment instead of a basic human right. This call focuses on right ideas of how cities work in the world, how initiatives can create differences in public spaces, who can take part in the city life, and what does it mean to have the right to be part of the city.
The right to the city, or le droit à la ville, was formulated by Henri Lefebvre in 1968. Today, we are still fighting against the excluding tendencies of a city in multiple ways. With this call, we received some very interesting thoughts about the conception and reality of the city.
Der Titel unseres ersten Calls ist ein Versuch, möglichst viele Leute und Ideen ins Boot zu holen und so ein breites Spektrum an Stadtansichten abzubilden. Er umfasst die Architekturtheorie und zugleich sozialgesellschaftliche Aspekte aus der Popkultur.
Wem gehört die Stadt? Zu dem Thema kommen mir direkt Fragen in den Sinn, die mit Machtstrukturen zu tun haben, mit Mitspracherecht, mit Teilhabe. Was sind die wesentlichen Dinge? Wohin wollen wir als Gesellschaft?
The issue of ownership of a city gets especially visible in the city in which foam itself is based in Munich, the state of Bavaria, so the state of which the city of Munich is the state capital of, is considered the wealthiest German state, which obviously comes with cultural, social and built consequences. And as one of the focuses of foam is to discuss the other layers to our architectural environment, rather than only talking about architecture conventionally. This starting topic helps to define some fundamental theses about the discourse in general.
Having the right to the city is not only about urbanism or architecture or even living in cities. Questioning this right opens up a whole discussion on participation and the influence of the individual. Cities are the places where human society is formed, and who's in charge of creating it? Is it the wealthy minority or the underdog majority? It's worth a discourse, isn't it?
Foam, from underdogs to Schickeria.
The right to the city.
foam-network.com.
Okay, welcome back here we are. I hope you liked our short introduction. And now maybe we can talk about some of the questions.
Where are the questions? Okay, some people of you ask us, why is it a bad teach? Why is it bad to teach in a traditional manner? So Jacob, maybe you have an opinion on that.
I think there's nothing really bad about the traditional manner, or what is traditional manner in. Maybe the question is related to architecture schools, and what we think is that the teaching in architecture schools is so much concentrating on the possibility to transport information in a very short time. So we often use images for transporting information or for communication, and I think somehow the topic of architecture is very complex, and especially if we talk about social architecture or something, if this is existing. And so I think a lot of complex subjects in architecture cannot be bring down to a picture and be communicated in 10 seconds. So I think sometimes we also have to use words and text for communication, and also to communicate with other disciplines. Maybe words are sometimes better because somehow we have our own language in architecture to communicate in these pictures, and sometimes others outside of our profession can just not really read our language. That would be my answer.
Fantastic. And then, yeah, I don't really know what to say, Jakob, but maybe we move on to the next question.
I have a question for you.
For me?
Yeah, because listening to the podcast, maybe people realize that there's the use of different languages in our own introduction. So maybe you want to say something about the languages and why we use different languages in our introduction.
Yeah, one thing is that we trying to be interdisciplinary, and another thing is also that we focus on being international, to be open to other, like also involve different architecture institutions, and also be open to other countries and faculties in different countries in the world. And that's why we think it's important that we do this podcast and the general platform in English. But if you like to write a text or propose something to us, like a poem or something, in your own language, that's also fine. So everything can also be published in any kind of language, but we need to have the written proposal also in English. So the live event and everything you propose can be in the language you prefer to speak in, but we need a written version in English so that we can post it on our publish it on our platform later on.
Yeah, so about the publishing, maybe I just add something. So we publish the podcast, and we will start with the introduction, and I hope I can solve the website thing to publish it tomorrow. And after that, we also will publish it on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. So hopefully they are fast, and I find a way to make them publish our stuff very soon. And then the final thing on the website will be that you can always listen to the podcast in whatever language it is recorded, and you will have the text in the original language, and you will find the text in English, so that through this method we hope it's very accessible to everyone internationally.
And this is already referring to another question that was asked by you. What are your coming projects and future plans? So right now we actually focusing on talking to the authors to find a related way to publish their essays, but also they're like finding an additional program to interfere with you guys and get a discussion and publish this later on our platform and also on Spotify. And how is the other one called, Jakob?
Just the podcast from Apple, so I think it's called Apple Podcast.
Apple Podcast, okay. So yeah, so that's what we're progressing right now. So, and then we already started to think about our next call to keep on like working parallel between posting the actual content of the call and then also asking us continuously questions about what are the related topics to the current situation right now and how we can find a new research interest to focus our calls.
So maybe after that, do you want to talk about the program, like how maybe we should talk about how we will publish our stuff in which rhythm?
You want to go ahead? Yes.
Yeah. So this is like the test event, and it's, as you all know, it's Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock. And
Pia had already an uproar.
so we're planning to bring you new stuff every 2 weeks, and we're planning also to have this live event connected to it every 2 weeks. So there will be the live event on YouTube. Maybe we'll spread it also to other platforms, but right now it's YouTube. And then there will be a rhythm of 2 weeks with the live event. On the next day, on Thursday, you can find the podcast everywhere, like what we said, in every platform we said, on the website, and also the text on the website. And so we will start with the rhythm of 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, new podcasts.
There's another question came up. How do we do our network? So how do we get in contact, I guess, with other people? So right now we're working on a marketing strategy to create our own identity, to create a manifest where we focus on how, like, what are our values, what would we like to stand for, and what would we like to focus in, and by this creating an idea and like a manuscript, and
Yeah.
oh, I think my internet sometimes went a little bad. Sorry. To focus on how to connect different people. So we trying to talk to different institutions, people who do similar things around Munich, but also around Germany, to talk to different universities who also publish magazines, to just get a broader idea of who is involved, like who likes to be involved, who works in the same discipline, to like kind of get information from them, but also exchanging knowledge and creating by this a new and like our identity, but also gaining some new input how to move forward in collaboration with other institutions and also different disciplines involved.
Yeah, maybe something that I want to add is that even if we're doing a marketing strategy, it's not about selling, because we all work voluntarily, and it's about what we want to achieve and not about how we earn money, because we are earning nothing. And maybe this will change, because if we grow, we will need some money to host the platform and all that stuff, but not to make us rich. And
but we all want to be rich, don't we?
The other thing I wanted to add is that we also, right now in the COVID-19 situation, we have a meeting every Wednesday, and it's open. We publish the meeting, how you can join us, on our website and also on our Instagram. So if you want to join and comment something or be part of the project, just feel free, and you're more than welcome.
Okay, maybe we go to one last question that got asked, and that's a perfect question for you, Jacob. It's your favorite topic. It's about gender. So how do we keep the gender balance in our foam institution?
Right now it's very unbalanced, because I think we have way more women than men in our team. But yeah, we're just talking because we meet every Wednesday before we go live. So at 7 p.m. what we were talking about right now is that we need something like a constitution, where we just define what we want to do, what we want to achieve, how we want to work. And I think this is part of how we want to work. And I think, in my opinion, we can fix there that we should focus in an equal balanced team somehow, or that everyone feels represented in it or could be part of it. And so for me, one very important thing of this constitution is how do we build a structure that stays open for new members to join and do what we do and be part of it. And yeah, this is something we will discuss, and if anyone wants to join discussing it, he's more than welcome to. He and she is.
And I think this refers perfectly to one of your last questions, and that's how can interested people engage with the foam. And I think that's quite easy because we meet every Wednesday at 7 p.m. via Teams or via Zoom. So if you're interested, just write us on our email address, which Jacob is perfect in saying right now.
You can find a contact sheet. This is the easiest way. You go to our website. That is foam-network.com. And there you can find a contact sheet. And the easiest way for you is just go to our website and contact us there. Or there's another way, and I think this is also very important maybe to know, that we have an Instagram channel. So if you're using social media, you can use our Instagram also to contact us. And Instagram is also the medium where we have the most recent information, like what is happening in foam, because the website is updated like weekly if there's a new podcast, but on Instagram there's a lot happening.
Fantastic. Okay.
I think that's it, right? Or you want to add something?
I don't want to add anything yet. That's fine.
Okay, then maybe we keep it like this.
Yes.
Cool. Thank you for joining. And maybe we see you next Wednesday at 7 if you want to join our team, or at 8 if you